that better? I hope so. Hi Skipper, Jerome. Welcome to the live stream, guys. It's a little dark in here, isn't it? I want to start out with a fundraiser. I think most of y'all know it closed today. So next Saturday, I'm going to go ahead and do the drawing. To make it fair, I'm going to do a number for each person that bought a shirt, and I'm going to start with the first person that bought, and I'm just going to do a random number generator on my phone, and we'll do that live next week at 6 o'clock, and I'm going to do Canadian and the U.S. at the same time. Hi Jay Oliver, welcome back guys. It's nice to see y'all. Hi Patty, John, great to see you guys all here. So here's the thing, guys, and this is something, and I talked it over with my friend Dr. Pountney because he sent me to the paper, and so it took me a minute to understand it. There was a lot of technical jargon in it, a lot more than I'm used to seeing. Hi Yellowstone, welcome. But it was a paper about flukes, and it was real interesting. It went into the different things with the RNA and the DNA and how to detect it and that sort of thing. And he actually had to spell it out for me in the end. And so what they've done is they've found a way to actually detect, hi Carrie, they've come out with a way to detect the DNA of 2 different types of flukes, which is in itself amazing. But what that is going to end up leading to is an actual test for flukes. So how does that all work? And that was something I asked him because I couldn't find it in the paper because of some of the scientific jargon was a little bit beyond what I have learned. And I asked him, I said, do we have to cut a little piece of gill out and test it, or how does that work? And he informed me that it's going to be similar to a pregnancy test. And Susan and Diego gave me a hard time about that because they said they're both going to start carrying pregnancy tests on their website now. But it's going to work very, very similar to a pregnancy test. Essentially, you can stick it in the water, and it'll tell you if you have one of these 2 types of flukes. And if you have one of these 2 types of flukes, it will show you which one you have. So it's very, very specific. Hi guys. But this test will be very, very specific on which type of gill fluke it is, and it will tell you that. So that is a huge breakthrough on its own. Could I speak directly? Let me move forward because I really don't think my headset's working. Can you hear me now? Oh, let me take this off because it's obviously not working. So you take this test and you stick it into the water, and it'll tell you what type of fluke you have. Liquid, that would be great. Actually, I chose this time because I am also accommodating Australia and Malaysia. So this will be the time that I'm kind of going to do each week. Like I said, next week I'm going to have the drawing for the Discus. So that'll be awesome. So, I thought about this and I had to get back with Dr. Pountney about it. And we sat and discussed it for a while. This research of being able to detect flukes in the water opens up the door, not just for flukes, but for every type of pathogen in the water, with the exception of bacteria. And the reason that I disclude that or don't include that is because all water has some form of pathogenic bacteria, but your fish have an immune system that keeps it from getting infected. But if you know you have camellitis, or you know you have capillaria, or you know that you have anchorworms or, you know, any of the other ones. And that would include things like hexamida or giardias or, oh, I can't even think of the names of all of them. But any type of parasite. That has opened the door for being able to pull DNA from those parasites from the water and just doing a test. And that in itself would make a huge impact on the hobby, because all you'd have to do is test your water and say, oh, well, I have hexamida or I have capillaria. I know what to treat with, I know what to do, and never have an issue with parasites. So that is absolutely huge from the research community, from the research side of things. I mean, I've had so many times that I've had a fish sick and I couldn't figure it out. And if I could pull up and say, well, it's not a parasite because I just tested for parasites, nothing came up, I'll know that, well, maybe it's a fungus or maybe it's a bacteria affecting them. I would be more thinking it was bacteria, because if you have fungus, you generally see it. But I think that kind of, you know, gets the message out there. But this is absolutely breakthrough information that everybody. Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you. I hit 500 subscribers tonight. That is awesome. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Jay Oliver, for letting me know that too. That is absolutely wonderful. Anybody have questions about that? I know you guys all have questions for me. At least some of you do. I don't know if you all saw the live stream with Diego and Susan on Thursday. I absolutely had a great time doing the live stream. I've been in contact with Diego since then about some stuff with the foundation. So thanks, everybody. You guys have really boosted me, boosted the channel. I mean, it's given me a lot more confidence coming on here. I've been a little reticent. I'm a little bit shy with putting myself forward. I think Carrie and Kim and Katie all know that. Thanks, Katie. Thanks for showing up tonight. I'm glad to see you here. I got a new subscriber just now. That's awesome. My Fish Tanks AQ. Thank you. You guys are great, for sure. Now, Carrie, we're not done yet. The worst of it's probably still to come. The hardest part of it is still to come, but thanks, everybody. Hi, Minister. Welcome to the channel. And welcome all the new people to the channel. Thank you. Thanks, Mike, for putting the link out there. And thank you guys for coming and showing support. I really appreciate it. So, what do you guys... No, it's not my first time, but we've been plugging away at this for, what, 8 months now, I think. 1 million subs. Crown Tail, you are dreaming. You are dreaming. So you guys have questions for me or anything? I mean, I don't know. I know you guys were, some of you were at the live stream, but not everybody. Tennessee, it is nerve-wracking at times. Trying to get ready for it, trying to know what you're going to say and everything, that's kind of hard at times. So I'm just really excited about this research, and I really wanted to get the news out there. I just can't think of I couldn't get my headset to work for some reason, and I rebooted my computer, but it didn't work. So I'm running off of the computer, and every time I lean back, it gets quieter. Minister, I actually posted a video of my fish, I think yesterday, cleaned some water spots off the aquarium, and I was rubbing real hard, and all the fish were coming over to it. I mean, they're not as skittish as people think they are. If you tiptoe around them all the time and they're not used to you moving around, I mean, any fish will get skittish if you yourself are acting like that. just act normal around them, do things the way you normally would, and the fish will adjust to you. So definitely, Kim posted the link to the abstract for the article. Thanks, Rico. Hopefully you'll get up to your 1,000. You're so close. I think, guys, I think Rico stands only 8 people away from the 1,000. My Discus people, if you wouldn't mind, go over and just go ahead and subscribe to him so he can get his 1,000. He had it last night and YouTube took some away from him. So I've enjoyed spending time with the Fish Fan people. I've been in quite a few live streams. Some of them I didn't say anything while I was there. I was just there. But I made sure that they got the watch time hours from me being there. So he's at 1,000. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, Katie, I think I think we talked about that before. Yours are not skittish either. It's a lot of it's about how you walk around them, how you act around them. I mean, if you act like you're thinking they're going to be scared, and then all of a sudden you have to grab something that's fallen off the table, you're going to scare the crap out of them, for sure. They can be nervous, and yeah, they freaky. They are some of the most beautiful fish I think I've ever seen. I absolutely love Discus. Absolutely. So, let's see. Hi, Skipper. Let's see. I'm going to put this out there because I've seen other people do it. If you guys want to join me in the stream and ask questions or just talk or anything. How close is Stephen in Tennessee? I didn't know he was close. Thanks, Kim, for getting that out there. Definitely, at least give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you think the channel's going to be good. We appreciate any and all support. The channel is more about education, educating people on Discus. I can go into talking about other fish, and some things kind of cross over to other species. So it's not necessarily always Discus. It's not. Sometimes it may be something that is Discus, but it also pertains to other fish as well. And we do have other fish in the house. I've got dangerous bastards in that tank. We've got Corridoras, we've got Plecos, we've got Ocellatus, we've got Persartes in the 75. So we've got other fish besides Discus. Katie, I don't have experience with albinos, but with just about every species of animal, the albinos are going to be sensitive to light. And some of them have been known to be blind as well. That comes with the actual albino gene. Which one is Aquaticon? Is that the one that is in Knoxville coming up? So I'm thinking about trying to make that one. 19 away. Awesome, Stephen. Yeah. Rico, I'm glad you made it, and I hope that me sharing the group around helped too. I tried to get it out there so as much as I could. Yeah, Tennessee. I'm planning to try to make the one in Knoxville that's coming up for sure. I was going to try to make the one in Louisiana, but they moved it out to March, I think. So we'll see what happens with that one. And I want to make Aquashella in Orlando in February. A lot of things that I want to do. Let's see. Oh. Let's try that. how are you? Sandy, I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the stream. I'm going to do the drawing for the fish next Saturday. I wanted to give everybody, because today was the last day, I wanted to give everybody their chance to get their names in there and get their shirts ordered. So I'm going to hold off until next weekend to do the drawing and everything. Any questions from anybody? Did you guys all catch the research news? Because I can go back over that too. Absolutely. Thumbs up, y'all. Yeah, the research paper that came out, that was a big news. You know, being able to detect flukes in water or any pathogen in water, that's going to be a really, really big thing. No problem, Sandy. But to be able to do it in home, you have a sick fish and you want to know what it is, you just take your test and put it in, and it tells you what's going on. And that's huge. I mean, I just can't imagine, you know, I couldn't have imagined 20 years ago being able to do that at all. So that's going to be huge. It's still in the works. It's just the research has just come out on it. So it'll be a little while, and I think that'll end up at the fish farms. I'm sure Segrist is interested in it, and some of the big farms are going to be interested in that, and they'll be the ones testing it out first, because that'll save them in the long run on losing fish in those big farms. Yes, that is Sister Kim, Crown Tail. Because we're all a family, right? Any questions from my group over here? You guys, I got eggs sitting on cones out there in the fish room. My interesting couple has laid again. We'll see what comes from that. They have quite a few eggs. We actually separated a pair of angelfish. We've got them sitting in a breeder tank now. Although I'm not sure that we really want to have a whole bunch of angelfish running around. We've got some of Kim's babies growing out there. They're growing like weeds too. I am not the nice sister. You'd be surprised. Carrie's the troublemaker. Our brother Carrie. I've got plecos, guys. I have got hundreds of plecos. So if you know anybody that needs plecos, have them get in touch with me so we can move some of these plecos out. We did try to put some of the bigger ones into one of the Discus tanks. That didn't go over very well with the Discus. Apparently they liked the plecos a little bit too much. How was I introduced to Discus? I met my husband in Europe and he had Discus, and I fell in love with them. Absolutely from the get-go. Absolutely gorgeous fish. Absolutely love them. My favorite thing is watching them with fry on the back and watching how protective they are and how they work together to make sure that the babies are safe, and the pass off between the parents is always nice to see. Trying to think what else I've got. I've got 3 ocelotus left. We don't know if they're male or female. We had 6, and I don't know exactly what happened, but the male killed the females, so skittish discus. Yeah, water quality, diseases, bad setup. Can also be how many fish you have in the tank. If you don't have enough discus in there, they're not comfortable. They can become skittish from that. There's a lot to some of that. Hi ADHD, welcome. I was watching ADHD's live stream earlier, and she was definitely busy. She has a lot of tanks. And somebody said 300 or something like that, ADHD. Awesome, Metalhead. Awesome. We've got, Carrie and I did the first streams together, and there's a lot of really, really good information in the first streams. They're very long, but they're very informative, and I really recommend watching them. Those were the very first ones we did. As a matter of fact, the very first one was actually uploaded as a video because we did it on Facebook rather than doing it on YouTube. We did it on Facebook, and then I downloaded it from Facebook and uploaded it to YouTube. So, thanks, Mike. I really appreciate that. And Carrie knows I've got some more research that I'm doing right now. We had some developments and some research papers today that I ran across, and so I'm doing some research on some stuff that's interesting in the discus hobby. I don't think that it really pertains to other fish, but I'm hoping to get some real answers for that before long. Really looking forward to doing that one. I've actually been at that one all day long, messaging people and talking to people about some issues with discus and getting information from them and trying to gather just as much information as I can get. But I'm going to be getting with some veterinarians and getting some other things done to find out some things. So I stay busy pretty much all the time with either the research or getting ready for a live stream or working or talking to my husband about the fish room, looking for fish. And I'm moderator on, I think, 3 or 4 groups now for discus. So I'm really busy a lot. And any questions from anybody? I can sit here and talk all day, but I don't want to forget to ask questions or answer the questions. I'm looking forward to that live stream later too. With Ed and Rico and Metalhead. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, that's the link for the scientific paper. It only shows the abstract unless you buy it. Anybody that's actually interested in the full paper, I may be able to get it to you. Just shoot me an email, discustalk@yahoo.com, and I can get that to you. It took me, I think I read it like 5 times before I started to get an understanding of it. I'll be honest with you, because it is very, very technical. How to overcome skittish discus. Act normal, and it takes time. We had a power outage, and one tank of our discus became very, very skittish. Every time the light came on, every time the light went off, they would dart through the tank, and we're just scared. And it took months for them to get over that. But every day the light came on at the same time, every day the light went off at the same time, and eventually they got over it. So essentially just doing whatever you normally do, and it just takes time. Unless they're sick, in which case you need to figure out what's going on. There's also another thing that can cause skittishness, and it's something that needs to be checked anyway. Every time you do a water change, make sure that your heater is not broken or cracked, so that it's not leaching electric out into the water. That can make them skittish. Water parameters, as long as your water parameters are good, you're fine. Swings in pH can cause them to become skittish. I can't think of everything. Exactly, Kim. Don't tiptoe around them. Let them get used to you. If you just walk by the tank and you walk fast by the tank every day or every time, they'll get used to you walking fast by the tank. I don't do full water changes daily. We do on the juvenile tanks 80% every other day, and on the tank with the adults we do 80% probably every 4 days. That's a good point, Carrie. Absolutely, keeping your tank up at body level or higher than leg level. I do have some juveniles in lower tanks, and they're not really skittish of the legs moving by, but if I were to put fish from somebody else's house into one of my lower tanks, they would probably be skittish for a long time. Yeah. Yeah, definitely let Discus get used to your routine rather than the other way around. That is probably the best advice I can give. As long as your water parameters are good, as long as your temperature's good, then just, yeah, waiting. Yeah, don't baby your Discus. I see that all the time. People are like, oh, I'm careful not to move too fast around my Discus, and they have real skittish Discus, and that's, they've done that themselves. What kind of Discus do I breed? I have got melons, I've got red covers, I've got rose reds, which they're almost the same, the rose reds and the red covers, and I've got blues, and I've got a few other things going on. We're not pushing a whole lot of them. We've got golden butterflies that we're working on right now, and we've got some F1s that we're waiting to pair up. So we're trying not to breed too many at one time. We really don't want to overcrowd the fish room because we don't have all the tanks in yet. My water parameters for breeding. My TDSs, we try to aim for between 120 and 150, and our pH runs 8.5 in the breeding tanks, well, in all the tanks. The ideal reading depends on what your makeup of your water is. Everybody says TDS and TDS, but it does depend on what's causing your TDS to go up. Not everything that raises TDS is going to turn the eggs white. When we lowered our TDSs down, I think we had ours at 40 at one point, and we didn't have any eggs hatch. When we raised it back up to 120, we had a lot more eggs hatch. So I think it depends on your water. Exactly, Kim. You have to find the sweet spot for you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to try to post a video of some of my tanks. I've done a video of the fish room, but I haven't really focused on the fish. And I might end up doing, at some point, a video just showing the different tanks and different colors and that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't, it's better to have them a little bit higher. If they're used to you and used to your house, a lot of times I'll have some on the bottom, but they've been with me for a while and they're used to the fish room and they're used to us, and they seem to do better. An egg eater or a bad parent? If I have a bad parent, I pull the parent. If they're both egg eaters, we will cage the eggs. And sometimes if there's one that's eating the eggs, we'll cage the eggs, parents in, and then if they start eating the wigglers when they come, or the free swimmers when they come off, the next time we actually pull the parent and cage the eggs. Melvin, the breeders are in 55-gallon tanks that are divided. I have, I think, 5 or 6 of those that are divided. I have 55 gallons for the fry to go into, to grow for a little while, and we have 150-gallon grow out tanks for the fry. And at the moment, they're all full. We also have a 265-gallon in my living room that has stinkers in it. Exactly, Stephen, and a lot of people don't know what's in their water. I actually found out today that my water doesn't have magnesium in it, and that kind of disturbed me, but I'm going to work on getting some magnesium and start adding some to the water. So, it's also important to keep the water stable. I always tell people that are getting ready to start in Discus, you need to take your tap water, you need to test the pH of the tap water, and then let it aerate for 24 hours or age for 24 hours and test the pH again and see if you've got a pH swing over time. If you do, then you probably are going to have to use a barrel or something to age your water before water changes. So it's something that new people really need to know when coming into Discus. We have very, very stable water. Our RO system does not even lower my pH. It actually raises it. Straight from the RO, it goes up to 9. And we age it for 24 hours and it drops back down to 8.5. And we have 2 55-gallon barrels set up for the RO, and that's only for the breeding Discus. I don't have yellow Discus. So, honestly, I don't know that there's anything for sure that you can use for yellow Discus. I've heard that there is, but since I haven't had yellow Discus, I haven't really paid a lot of attention to it. Yeah, Carrie uses the conductivity. I have both conductivity and TDS. Carrie, you want to come up in here with me and you can answer some questions? Hey, Dina. Good to see you, Dina. I'm glad you come in. Mine has both TDS and conductivity. Excuse me. I'm going to tell you, Carrie and Kim live in Michigan. And I kid you not, their tap water is the absolute best water for breeding. They throw fish in the tanks and they have hundreds of babies in a few minutes. I kid you not, they're crazy. Melvin, they are not as hard as people say if you're following the guidelines or the rules, if you will. Discus needs super clean water. They need minerals in the water. Um, they need to be, essentially just kept clean. Um, don't over medicate Discus, and salt is your best friend. Um, as far as the substrate, I personally do not have any substrate in my tanks. All of my Discus tanks are bare bottom because substrate is a breeding ground for bacteria, and I have high pH, which means that bacteria colonize way faster in my water than they do in, say 7 or 7.2. And to keep the bacteria load down, we just don't have the substrate. It also makes it easier to wipe the glass and keep it really super clean. But they really aren't as hard as people make it out to be. Oh my goodness, Dana, that's not good. Is there anything you can do with RO water that makes it, that takes it out of the water, or do you know? You guys are, yeah. You can get away with prime or catalytic carbon filter. Okay, I haven't had that issue, so I don't know how to really take care of that one. Chloramines can be done with prime and that sort of thing, so I wasn't sure about the radon. I haven't seen that issue before. Although I heard there's places in Huntsville where radon comes from the tunnels down below us, but I haven't actually seen it or had to deal with it, so I've been lucky there. When you use rainwater or springs distilled water as replacement. I don't like distilled water, and I never remember how to explain it, but distilled water actually searches for minerals, and it will pull minerals into itself because of the way that the ions are in distilled water. So I don't like using the distilled water, the DI water. Do I keep other fish with my Discus? We have. We haven't done it with much success. We had 20 neon tetras that we bought with 6 gold tetras, and I think 24 to 48 hours later we didn't have any neon tetras. We did have the gold tetras. They were able to get away. We had Bolivian rams with the Discus, and every time one of the Discus wanted to lay eggs, they lit into the Bolivian rams, and I would usually find one of those dead the next day, and those are all gone now. We've had plecos that do well with Discus, or so we thought. We put some baby plecos. They were pretty good size in with 3-inch Discus, and those are gone. What else have I had with the Discus? We had Geophagus. The Geophagus kept going after the Discus, so it had to go. I can't think of anything that has actually done well with my Discus. Discus are cichlids, and they will go after other fish, no doubt about it. I know people have done it successfully, I think, because they have planted tanks and stuff like that, and I don't have that, so there's no place for the smaller fish to hide. But even when I had the sand and wood in there, when we had the tetras, they still didn't survive. Only the gold ones made it through that. So it's very hard to find something that will actually work out with the discus. I found that even if the discus don't mess with them, they may mess with the discus. That's right, I had clown loaches. The clown loaches did do well with the discus. The discus didn't mess with them. And the Corydoras do well with the discus. Now that I've said that, I'll go put some Corydoras in one of my discus tanks and they'll go after them. You never know. But the Corydoras move around pretty quick, so I don't think the discus can actually get them. No, I can send you a link and it'll automatically pop you in here, Carrie. Here's a link if anybody wants to come in and say hello. There you go. Mike's got rummy nose and red-eyed tetras with discus. And I've heard that from other people as well. I've also heard cardinal tetras. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the cardinals, so I went with the neon and the gold. The gold did survive the discus. They didn't get them. I don't know if they were moving faster than the neons or what was up with that, but they survived the discus, so that was at least something. That's the link for the article about the flukes that Kim just shared with everyone. What do y'all think about that? Having a test that you can stick in your tank and get it wet, and it'll tell you if you've got parasites. I think that's a game changer right there. Yeah, Serpent tetras. Y'all, I was in Mike's Aquatics and things right before the live stream, enjoying his stream. He was having fun over there. Yeah, I think it does too. I think if and they're going to start with the test for flukes first, but the fact that they found a way to test for flukes using just the water, I mean, it opens so many doors for so many other different things that they found a way to do it, and I don't know why they hadn't thought of it sooner, but I think it's going to be awesome. Okay, y'all got me wanting to look at the tetras. I saw them when I was up there, but I can't for the life of me remember what they look like. Yeah, me and Carrie showed up at Kim's house a couple weeks ago unannounced, or at least I was unannounced. Carrie told her he was coming. I brought some discus back with me. She has some absolutely gorgeous discus sitting. Carrie has some gorgeous discus sitting. Any more questions, guys? Yeah, your babies are growing. Fat and sassy. Absolutely beautiful little babies. Absolutely gorgeous, Kim. Alright, guys. Well, I think I'm going to sign off for this evening. Next week, we're going to be doing the discus giveaways. So make sure you guys are ready to tune in. I know a couple people here have bought the shirts, so they're in the drawing, or more than a couple. More babies, Kim. You've got what, 7 tanks with eggs in it right now? You can't have any more babies. Oh, that's a good question, Melvin. How many discus can you keep in a 55-gallon tank? And can you keep juvenile discus in a 40 breeder? It depends on how big the discus are. You can probably keep up to 7 or 8 in a 55, depending on how often you do your water changes. The rule of thumb is 1 discus per 10 gallons. But you can go higher than that if you're doing a lot more water changes. Juvenile discus in a 40-gallon breeder, some people do use a 40-gallon breeder as a grow out, or at least for a partial grow out. We keep ours in 55s until they're about 2.5 inches, and then they go into a 150. Do you store and treat your water before adding to the tank? The water goes straight from the faucet to the tank, and the prime goes in the tank while it's being filled. So, it's very, very easy. 4 fish with 3 swimmers and 3 with eggs or wigglers. So all 7 of them at the moment look like they're going to hatch or at least get close to it, right? Kim's as bad as Carrie. Everything they put in a tank reproduces for them. Trying to think, if I had a 40-gallon, which I don't, but if I did, I probably wouldn't put any more than 15 or so juveniles in it. Maybe 20. But I was just thinking about that. How many would I put in a 40? Alright guys, I think I'm going to end it for the night. I want to go and take a rest since I've been doing research all day today. Spend some time with my husband. You guys all have a good evening, and we will see y'all next time. Bye y'all.